Hey guys, today I'll show you a horror thriller film named Hard Eyes. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins with a photographer, hidden in the tall grass, ready to capture a romantic marriage proposal. Suddenly, a machete fills his view, slicing straight into his tofu brain. The man proposing, unaware of the impending doom, calls the photographer to ask how the pictures are turning out. Just as he finishes speaking, a crossbow bolt strikes him right in the forehead. The woman is terrified like a chilling chicken, but another arrow quickly follows. She makes a desperate run for their car, but before she can open the door, another bolt flies by. Luckily, she ducks just in time, and the arrow shatters the car window instead. The woman cautiously looks around, but the killer is hidden in the shadows, making the danger impossible to guard against. Knowing it's not safe to stay, she flees for her life into a vineyard. Just as she's on the phone calling for help, a bolt hits her in the ankle. Enduring the excruciating pain, she limps onward and manages to reach a winery where she finds a security guard. Surely she's safe now. However, what happens next is not what she expects. The killer soon arrives at the winery entrance. The guard draws his gun to intimidate him, but the killer remains perfectly calm. Despite having a gun, the guard misses his chance to act. With a swift and precise throw, the killer takes the guard's life with a knife. The woman, likely panicked out of her mind, could have turned the tables by picking up the guard's pistol. Unfortunately, her only instinct is to run. When she can run no more, she hides inside a wine press, hoping to wait it out. A few minutes later, the noise outside stops. The woman thinks the killer might have left, but just as she lets her guard down, she suddenly hears the sound of the press starting up. By the time she realizes what's happening, there's no escape. The woman is crushed by the machine into a human pancake, her life ending in absolute terror. This massacre takes place on Valentine's night. Terrifyingly, this isn't the first such incident. For the past 2 years, couples have been sadistically murdered on Valentine's Day, the methods always being extremely brutal. Of course, anyone who gets in the killer's way, even if they're single, is not spared. The killer wears a mask with a creepy heart-shaped eye, earning him the nickname Cupid. Cupid's identity is a mystery, and he chooses his cities at random, leaving the police completely clueless. As another Valentine's Day arrives, a media crew interviews young couples on the street, asking if they are afraid of Cupid. Although some of them put on a brave face, the police issue a special warning. For their safety, it's best for couples to stay home on Valentine's Day. Otherwise, their public displays of affection could get them killed. Meanwhile, at the winery crime scene, the police find a ring with the initials JS engraved on the inside. This doesn't match the names of the engaged couple, ruling out the possibility of it being a wedding ring. The police believe it most likely belongs to the killer. Opening the wine press, they find it stained red with blood and gore. Even the seasoned police chief has to remark on what kind of monster could do such a thing. Some speculate the killer is an antisocial person living in a basement. Others theorize that if the killer is a woman, she must have been cheated on multiple times, leading to an emotional breakdown. The woman's body is so thoroughly destroyed that all they can find is a tuft of hair with a piece of scalp attached. However, the police get a break from the wedding photographer's camera. In the photos he took just before his death, the killer's figure can be seen. This discovery confirms that Cupid has arrived in their city. With 10 hours left until the end of Valentine's Day, it means Cupid's killing spree is far from over. Next, we meet our protagonist, Allie, a planner at an ad agency. She has meticulously developed a campaign for this year's Valentine's Day. However, her boss is not only dissatisfied but scolds her, arguing that her proposal could easily be associated with Cupid and be seen as exploiting the victims' deaths. But the boss's mood quickly brightens as she brings in some help, a man named Jay, a former creative director from a prestigious New York ad agency. Jay is leaving the next day, so the boss hopes that with his help, the team can revise the marketing plan. Jay's arrival is a surprise to Allie, as they had just run into each other at a coffee shop the day before. After work, Jay invites Allie to dinner to discuss the plan. Eager to keep her job, Allie readily agrees. Given that it's Valentine's Day, security at the hotel is extra tight, and all potentially dangerous metal objects are prohibited. When Allie goes through the security check, the alarm goes off. It turns out to be a metal straw in her bag. During the meal, Jay asks Allie a series of probing personal questions. Although they are private, Allie answers them honestly. She comes up with several creative ideas, but Jay interrupts her multiple times as she describes them. He asks if she recently went through a breakup, which might explain her pessimistic view on love. Allie vehemently denies this, insisting that romantic love is a sham and that only a lucky few ever find a true, lasting love. With their views clashing so sharply, they end the dinner on bad terms. As she's leaving, Allie sees her ex-boyfriend with his new girlfriend. Driven by her pride, she impulsively kisses Jay. Jay doesn't push her away and kisses her back using his juicy tongue. Afterward, Jay gets a cab to take Allie home. The combination of the car's lighting, a bouquet of flowers, and the smelly kiss creates an intimate atmosphere. After getting out of the car, Allie fumbles through her bag, but can't find her apartment key, only a large-sized condom. Seeing her stuck outside, Jay comes over to help. Deciding she's had enough, Allie clenches her fist, ready to smash the glass door. Just as she's about to strike, Jay stops her, telling her she's making a fist the wrong way and that she should tuck her thumb inside. Worried she'll get hurt, Jay decides to do it himself. Even though he wraps his hand in a handkerchief, the punch shatters the glass and leaves his hand bleeding heavily. Seeing this, Allie quickly takes him inside to treat the wound. While Jay is in the bathroom rinsing his hand, Allie hurries to tidy up her messy apartment. When Jay comes out, she goes to get the first aid kit. Strangely, in the brief moment she looked away, Jay, who was standing right in front of her, disappears. She finds him in the bedroom, sitting on her bed. Allie takes off her blood-stained jacket and carefully bandages Jay's wound. The unpleasantness from dinner has completely vanished, and they find themselves chatting easily, their connection quickly deepening. But at this moment, neither of them realizes that danger is lurking nearby. Allie opens her closet to change clothes and is terrified to find Cupid hiding inside. She slams the door shut, but Cupid kicks it open, sending her flying like a Barbie toy. The next second, Jay rushes forward and starts fighting with Cupid. Cupid raises his knife for a fatal blow, but at the critical moment, Allie smashes a lamp over the killer's head. She then pulls Jay out of the room. Thinking on her feet, Allie uses Jay's belt to secure the door handle to a nearby pipe, trapping Cupid inside. They then try to leave in a taxi, but just then, a crossbow bolt flies out and kills the innocent cab driver. As Cupid approaches, Allie quickly explains that he's got the wrong people, telling him they just met and aren't a couple. Hearing this, Cupid hesitates, standing still and just staring at Allie. Jay seizes the opportunity to secretly call the police. However, before he can speak, a crossbow bolt smashes the phone out of his hand. The situation is dire. The two of them can only scream for help as they run for their lives. They soon take shelter in an abandoned building. As they walk, Jay suddenly stops. Allie is grabbed by Cupid and is about to be choked to death when Jay returns with a weapon to fight the killer. Unfortunately, Jay is completely outmatched and is knocked unconscious after just one exchange. Cupid doesn't finish Jay off, instead turning his attention back to Allie. Now alone and helpless, Allie flees to an amusement park and cleverly hides behind a carousel horse. Before long, Cupid finds her. He doesn't rush to find his prey but sits leisurely on a swing, swaying back and forth. But in the blink of an eye, the terrifying figure on the swing is gone. Just as Allie begins to relax, a familiar scene unfolds. Accompanied by beautiful yet eerie music, the carousel mysteriously starts to turn. Allie carefully scans her surroundings, unaware that Cupid has already snuck up behind her. He swings his machete, slicing off the wooden horse's head. Thankfully, Allie reacts quickly and dodges the decapitating blow. In the ensuing struggle, she uses her agility to evade danger and even manages to land a kick that sends the killer sprawling. Allie bolts, and the killer picks up his knife to give chase. Just then, the sound of police sirens echoes nearby. When Allie looks again, Cupid has vanished into the night. A shaken Allie recounts the night's events to the police. She's very worried about Jay, but the police don't have any information on his condition. As they speak, a message comes over the police radio announcing that Cupid has been apprehended. Officers Jenny and her partner arrive on the scene. When Allie sees Jay in the back of a police car, her heart finally settles. But when she expresses her concern, Jay is angry. He accuses her of abandoning him to save herself. No matter how Allie tries to explain, Jay refuses to listen. To Allie's further shock, the two officers believe that Jay is the Cupid killer. According to them, when they found Jay in the park, he was wearing Cupid's signature mask and holding a bloody knife. Allie doesn't believe it because Jay was with her when Cupid first appeared. Jenny argues that this doesn't clear Jay's name, suggesting that Cupid might not be working alone. Jay insists he's innocent, but his explanations are futile. There are other reasons they suspect him. For one, the initials on the ring, JS, match his name. Furthermore, he had visited the two cities where previous murders occurred, and the timing aligned perfectly with the crimes. Jay doesn't deny visiting those cities, explaining it was for work, but he can't offer a reasonable explanation for the coincidental timing. During the interrogation, the power at the station suddenly goes out. A sense of dread washes over Allie. Frightened, she sticks close to a portly female officer. The officer reassures her not to be afraid, saying the police station is the safest place to be. No sooner has she said this than she becomes the next victim. Under the cover of darkness, Cupid stabs the officer from behind. Allie reacts instantly, turning off a dropped flashlight to avoid revealing her position. But to her horror, she realizes Cupid is fully equipped. His mask has night vision goggles, so the darkness is no obstacle for him. While trying to escape, Allie runs into Jenny, with Cupid close behind. Jenny immediately fires her gun at him. Her partner, who was guarding Jay in the interrogation room, comes out to investigate the gunshots, only to be cut down by Cupid. In the chaos, Allie takes refuge in the interrogation room where Jay is being held. Hearing the commotion, Jay begs Allie to get the handcuff key from the male officer, but he gets no response. Just as Jay is about to lose hope, the interrogation room door slowly opens. It's his worst fear realized. Cupid, a man of few words, enters and begins slashing wildly. Jay luckily dodges every blow, but handcuffed to the table, his movement is severely limited. It seems he's dead either way. But then a gunshot rings out and the tables turn. It turns out Allie had been waiting for the right moment. She found a police handgun and was hiding behind the one-way glass. With his advantage lost, Cupid once again vanishes. Once freed, Jay and Allie escape to a drive-in movie theater. The ever-present Cupid follows them there but seems momentarily overwhelmed by the large number of potential victims. After a brief pause, Cupid decides to go for a massacre. The couples at the drive-in instantly become the demon's prey. Some are killed, others flee, and the scene becomes one of horrific carnage. Jay tries to use the chaos to escape with Allie, but at the last moment, she stops. She tells Jay that if Cupid doesn't kill them, he'll just keep killing others. Since they were the ones who led him there, she insists they have to end it right there. Jay doesn't back down and chooses to fight alongside Allie. They shout to draw Cupid's attention. Once again, Jay is no match for the killer, whose strength and equipment far surpass his own. He is quickly defeated. Just as Cupid is about to finish him off, Allie launches a successful sneak attack with a weapon she found. Wincing in pain, Cupid turns and grabs Allie by the throat. Jay seizes the opportunity, picks up the knife Cupid dropped, and runs him through. With their combined efforts, the maniacal killer, Cupid, is finally taken down. Only after the threat is neutralized do the police arrive. Jay asks Allie if she wants to go back to the hotel with him to finish up the proposal. Allie is tempted but maintains her composure. Just then, Jenny approaches and says she'll have someone drive them home. Before they part, Jay and Allie exchange phone numbers. Allie watches Jay leave, a look of longing in her eyes. It's clear she has fallen for him. Back at her apartment, Allie's mind is racing. After much thought, she makes a bold decision: to go to the airport and bravely pursue love. As soon as she arrives at the airport, Allie receives a mysterious phone call. The voice on the other end is Jay's, and he sounds terrified. Then, another sinister voice speaks, taunting Allie and asking her to guess who he is. He says they've met before. He tells her that if she wants Jay to live, she must come alone to St. Valentine's Cathedral. If she dares to call the police, she'll be collecting Jay's body. Allie doesn't waste a second and rushes to the designated location. There, she sees Cupid again. How can this be? Not only is he not dead, but he has kidnapped Jay. Feeling confident of his victory, Cupid takes off his mask. Allie finds the face both familiar and strange, like she's seen him somewhere but can't remember where. The man reveals his name is David and says he had even tried to chat with her at the police station earlier. Allie is stunned. She asks if he is Cupid, then who was the man they killed. David tells her that man's name. Allie assumes they were a couple, but David informs her that there are actually 3 Cupids. At this point, the identity of the third member starts to become clear. It's none other than Officer Jenny. Allie would never have dreamed that the person who seemed the most righteous was the most depraved of them all. All along, no one had suspected that the initials JS stood for Jenny's name. 10 years ago, Jenny met David in an online chat room. They not only connected on a deep level, but also shared the same religious fervor and peculiar tastes. The Cupid who died was merely an obsessive fan of theirs. Allie can't understand why they would hunt her and Jay down, since they weren't a real couple. It turns out the twisted pair had initially been targeting Allie's ex and his new girlfriend at the hotel. The fatal mistake was Allie's pride-driven kiss with Jay, which made them switch their targets. David gives Allie 2 choices: either shoot Jay or kill herself. Both options are agonizing for Allie. She picks up the gun and for the first time opens her heart to Jay. She confesses that she's been running from love for too long, always thinking it would hurt her, but meeting him has changed her. She now yearns for love and wants to be with him. It is both her confession and her final goodbye. With that, she points the gun at her temple. Jay screams at her not to shoot. His plea makes Allie change her mind. At the last second before pulling the trigger, she pivots. The bullet passes through Jay's shoulder and strikes Jenny in the abdomen. Before David can react, Allie grabs the injured Jay and they run, but David isn't about to let them get away. What's more, Jenny, who survived the gunshot, joins the hunt. The 2-on-2 battle is intense. Jay and David grapple with each other while Jenny gets Allie under control, trying to decapitate her. As expected, Jay is still no match for David, who drags him over to make him watch his beloved die. David smirks, enjoying the show, but he forgets a killer's biggest weakness: arrogance. Seizing the moment, Jay secretly pulls the crossbow bolt from David's belt and stabs him with it. David stumbles backward, knocking over a candelabra, and hot wax pours all over him. With her lover dead, Jenny flies into a vengeful rage and brutally beats Allie, who is now at a disadvantage. Just as Jenny is about to deliver the final blow, Allie reveals her secret weapon. She fiercely stabs the iron straw she always carries into Jenny's throat. The intense pain instantly incapacitates her. Allie doesn't stop there. She roars like a goose and charges at Jenny, who stumbles backward until her neck is impaled clean through by the sword of a statue. Jenny can't make a sound. The more she struggles, the more her neck tears. Finally, the flesh and bone of her neck can no longer hold, and her head separates from her greasy body. In the end, having survived a night of terror, Allie and Jay finally get to be together. However, the story of the Cupid killer doesn't seem to be over. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.